The little prince was a very special boy who lived on a tiny planet all by himself. One day, he decided to leave his home and travel through the galaxy to visit other planets. As he journeyed from planet to planet, the little prince met all sorts of strange and wonderful creatures. There was a king who ruled over a tiny planet, but he didn't really have anyone to rule over because there was no one else living there. The little prince thought this was very funny and asked the king why he was a king if there was no one to be his subjects. The little prince also met a conceited man who was always talking about how great he was and how he was the best at everything. The little prince didn't think much of the conceited man, but he was polite and listened to him anyway. Next, the little prince met a fox who lived on a beautiful green planet. The fox was very wise and taught the little prince about the importance of friendship and love. The fox told the little prince that the most important thing in the world was to find someone to love and to be loved in return. After his visit with the fox, the little prince traveled to a planet where he met a lamplighter. The lamplighter had a very important job of lighting the lamp on his planet every evening and turning it off every morning. The little prince thought this was a very important job and asked the lamplighter if he could help him with it. The lamplighter agreed, and the little prince spent many happy days lighting the lamp and turning it off with the lamplighter. The little prince's journey took him to many more planets, and he met many more interesting creatures, but the one he liked the most was a rose. The rose lived on a planet all by herself, and she was the most beautiful flower the little prince had ever seen. The little prince spent many hours talking to the rose and learning about her. One day, the little prince had to leave the rose and continue on his journey. He was sad to go, but he knew he had to see all the other planets in the galaxy. As he left, the rose called out to him, "Please take care of yourself, my dear little prince." The little prince promised the rose that he would, and he set off on his journey once again. He traveled for a very long time and eventually, he returned home to his tiny planet. When he got home, he was happy to be back and he knew that he had learned many important things on his journey. He knew that the most important thing in the world was to find someone to love and to be loved in return. He also knew that even though he was just a little prince, he could make a big difference in the world.